Hello, everybody. My name is AlaynaGonzalez, and today I'm going to be giving my final capstone research presentation on visual storytelling as self-discovery, empowering creative identity through comic narratives. So, to begin with a little bit of the problem that we have at hand, it is the portrayal of women in comics. So, basically, when you think of women in media like comics, would you say that they're always accurate portrayals of women that you see on a daily basis? Because I would say that they are definitely not. If I were to describe myself when I was a young girl who picked up a comic, it was very, very unlikely that I would have found one that has a girl who looks anything like me. And obviously, this will have negative effects on girls as they grow up as well, because it shapes your ideas of beauty, gender roles, and even affects your self worth at a very young age because you begin comparing yourself to unrealistic standards in women. So obviously, we are commonly misrepresented in media as women, and I think that the examples on the right are really great examples that show just how unrealistic these illustrators and authors of these comics try to portray women as. Because if you look at these women, they have such unrealistic body standards, and they're conventionally attractive, they always are, and physically fit as well. And how can any little girl see themselves in a heroine that's so perfect when we know that we all have imperfections in reality? So, to build more on top of that, the area that I want to focus when I create my final capstone project is how can I use design and illustration to create more positive representations of female characters. Basically, I want to focus on diversity, and I think that the comics displayed on the right have similar focuses and characters similar to the ones that I plan on creating as well. To research for my project, I found many academic and news articles, design magazines, and obviously, I also used my own personal experience as being a girl who felt really misrepresented in comic media as well. So, this was my first key finding, and obviously, a lack of diversity is a really huge problem. And I obviously also don't just mean cultural diversity. A lot of female characters that you see in comics tend to look really similar, and they even have the same personalities. It makes women feel really unimportant, and a lot of the time, they are just used to serve as like a plot or a wife or girlfriend for the main male character. I think that it's really important for us to feel first and not secondary to men, because we will never feel empowered like reading these comics otherwise. And then this was my second key finding. We also obviously know that trying to over sexualize female characters is a really big problem as well, and obviously also reinforces these unrealistic beauty standards that women are faced with. They commonly try to throw on these unrealistic standards by making the heroines wear very revealing clothes, or they're just downright so unrealistically proportionate. And a girl who reads and sees these women might think that these physiques are attainable and desirable, and develop an internalized self-hatred as well. The images on the right are some very controversial panels from the comics Supergirl and Spider Woman. They depict them in very suggestive and revealing clothing that are not really fit for a young female audience to compare themselves to. So, obviously, after researching and finding these key findings, I came up with a design opportunity that was basically posed from the problems at hand that I think need to be fixed. Um, and I think that there needs to be more comics that feel authentic and realistic with their proportions. So, my solution that I posed is that I want to create a cast of female characters that are diverse, not unrealistic when it comes to common beauty standards, and I also want to create a narrative for them that surrounds each of their unique personalities and identities and growth. And also, the comics on the right were examples that I found of diverse women in comics that aren't misrepresented, and they have appropriate clothes and style, and they definitely were not secondary to the men and their narratives, which I really enjoyed as well. So this slide just goes into even deeper detail of what I want to do with my final capstone direction. I want to create an animated comic series for my girls that I plan on making that encapsulate each of their unique identities. I want to create concept art for each of them as well. And to the right, it kind of shows that I've already started on some for basically the main character. I wanted to create a main Hispanic character, and I kind of think that the bottom right sketch represents this more clearly, but the top left sketch was just a sketch of myself that obviously I'm not going to be the main character. So the bottom right character is kind of more so what would be, I guess, the final concept art for the character, just a sketch though. Um, and obviously, my goals are also pictured here. So I want visual art to be the main focus for every character to also feel really important. And I want to have a different cultural narrative represented in each of my main characters and side characters as well. So this slide just kind of explains what resources that I need to complete my capstone research project or capstone final project. So basically I will need Photoshop, I will need drawing tools, and I will also need Adobe Illustrator. So Photoshop will be used for fonts and editing images after they are drawn on paper. Basically, I just want to probably add overlays and comic effects in Photoshop. And then obviously, physically drawing um, will include stuff like markers, pencils, pens, and paint as well. And this will just be the whole comic itself will be drawn on paper initially. And I think that I want, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think that I'm going to bring the sketches from paper and then bring them into Illustrator to probably add color. Um, And then I will also use Illustrator after I've added the color to create posters for each of my character that also represents their cultural identity in each poster as well. So here was my takeaway from this project. I just really want to create an opportunity for me to be able to help girls feel empowered when they're able to see characters that actually represent them in media like comics. I want, obviously to go into something that I feel is really misrepresented and underrepresented as well. This was something that um, I think that because of my own childhood, I was really inspired to kind of create and help girls in a way as well. So I hope that my narrative and my art that I create just, helps an underrepresented crowd. And I just really want to empower these girls through my capstone project. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed and understood my capstone project direction in its entirety. And the last slide I'll show for a second, it's just my references slide, and I just want to thank you guys for watching again.